Hello everyone, welcome to the end of day one of Worlds 2010. Rich and Brian, let's get to it. First things first, 6 rounds of standard, lots to talk about, 5 players, a handful, literally, undefeated. Let's meet them on the big screen.
You've met a couple of these guys already before. We got a handful of Pro Tour winners, undefeated. Most notably, Brian Kibler, 6-0. On the day he is inducted into the Pro Tour Hall of Fame. He came back to play Magic, to get himself to the Hall of Fame, has played historic Magic since he's come back. He's top-8 3 of 6 Pro Tours since he's come back. Well on his way to becoming the first Hall of Famer to make a top 8 on the weekend he's inducted. It's never happened before.
Yeah, there's nothing oblivion about his ring, that is for sure. But there are other Pro Tour champions in here, and in this very country. Guillaume Wafatapa of France, 2007, Yokohama. He won in block with Mystical Teachings. No Mystical Teachings this time around, but of course, what does he sleeve up instead?
Blue-black control.
Yeah. Little story about Guillaume, he always plays foil decks. He just gets foils for everything. He came here, I said, did you have your 75 all foiled all ready to go? He said, yeah, but I had a few little upgrades. I said, how do you upgrade an all foil deck? He said, I changed my foil Jace the Mind Sculptor for a foil Japanese Jace the Mind Sculptor. This seems perfectly fair. One more Pro Tour champion to talk about in these 5. Who's this handsome young fella?
This is Pierre Canali. Pierre Canali, you may remember him winning Grand Prix Columbus many years ago. Pro Tour Columbus,
yeah.
Sorry. Pro Tour Columbus many years ago. In fact, playing a deck built by Guillaume Wafatapa. Interestingly enough.
I did not know that.
Yes. Guillaume Matignon and Guillaume Wafatapa contributed to the Affinity deck that Pierre Canali won the Pro Tour with. He doesn't play a lot of Magic these days. He played at French Nationals this year, came in 9th. Did well enough to boost his rating to the point where he earned an invitation to come here. He's playing Elves, as designed by Sylvain L'Oreal.
Yep.
Deck a lot of the other French players eschewed. They were like, no, don't be silly. This deck doesn't seem very good. He's been stomping all over people with Azuri.
The Renegade leader, and it is stomping because it's like you get to 5 mana and you have so much mana available in the Elf deck, and suddenly it's just overrun all my team in thank you very much.
Very interesting because there's a lot of other people playing Elf decks that run Genesis Wave.
Yes.
And I've actually talked to a couple of the Genesis Wave players, and like, the Genesis Wave's awesome, but I kind of wish it was in the sideboard because it's great in certain matchups, but it's actually in the sideboard here specifically for very targeted matchups. So, an interesting deck to take a look at.
This gentleman over here is an American that you may not know. I confess I didn't really. BDM, more your era, I would say.
Eric Froehlich's an all-time pro. You've seen him Grand Prix DC with teams years ago. He teamed up with Brian Kibler and John Finkel to make the top 4 of that event. He's he's done very well. He's a little bit of a poker celebrity.
Yep.
Has done well. He's a World Series bracelet winner.
Yep.
He's here. He's 6-0 playing Black-Red Vampires.
Right, okay, and that was something that we highlighted in the previous show yesterday as the aggro deck of choice, if you will. And that leaves Lukas Jaklovsky, a Czech player, one of the many who are here. We highlighted the Czech team as possibly doing very well. Martin User, of course, is in line for Player of the Year, possibly. And Lukas, just another in our long line of very, very good Czech players. 6-0, what was he playing?
He's playing blue-black control as well.
Okay.
Haven't really taken a look to... We'll look in on those decks tomorrow. Interesting deck here. Brian Kibler's playing blue-white control.
Okay.
But he's playing blue-white control with 4 Squadron Hawks as the only creatures.
Okay.
It's Cargo.
Oh, yeah.
Really? A pun you're going to groan at? Really?
Yeah.
You ran the Oblivion Ring pun not 3 minutes ago.
That's true, I did.
Okay, anyway. Really interesting deck. We did a deck tech with him, and you can take a look at that.
Yep. Always interesting to talk to Brian.
Yeah,
he has great opinions about the game. Now, they are the undefeated in the individual, but there is a wider picture, and that is Player of the Year. So let's remind you how things stood. Here's Brad Nelson, 15 points clear in the lead. His number 1 goal is make top 8. If he makes top 8, it's over. Nobody touches him. But at 3-3, the door is ajar. Well and truly. Not a great day for Brad.
Absolutely.
Fair?
Yeah, no, fair. He had to fight back up to 3-3.
Yep. He was 1-2
Yeah.
halfway through, and he's not out, but the magic number here is 4. At 4 losses, things start getting problematic. It's not that you're out, it's just that when you get to the back end of day 3, when people are trying to ID in, you don't have that luxury. You just win, 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 win. It's really tough. 3 of the 4 losses before you're on the margin already in the books for Brad Nelson.
He's heading into a draft format that he's done pretty well with for day 2, though.
Little bit well, it's true. Let's look at his 2 closest rivals, Paula Vida, Dama de Rosa, and Martin User. In the pictures, they both look pretty happy, but in real life right now...
They've both won events in these pictures.
In these pictures. But right now, this 3-2-1, we better explain that this isn't countdown to blast off. What does 3-2-1 stand for?
That is 3 wins,
yep,
2 losses, and 1 draw.
So, 10 points. So
right, the draw counts for 1 point. When you're calculating the standings, you get 3 points for a win, you get 0 points for a loss, and you get 1 point for a draw.
All right, so he's at 10 points. Now you could argue that's +1, 3 wins and the +1 for the draw.
It's better than the 3-3 that Brad has.
On the other hand, he's -2 from the 4 and 2s, and that is a big stretch behind the people up front. The 6 and 0s, don't forget, that's 18 points. He's a long way behind that. Paolo, though, just 1 defeat on the day, sitting pretty. The door is most probably ajar for Paolo because he is in good shape. He's not bad at drafting either.
He's not. And we may find out how Brad Nelson is at voodoo doll crafting.
Indeed. Let's take you to the 2 Japanese contenders, Shuhei Nakamura, Yuya Watanabe, the last 2 players of the year. Shuhei 3-3, just like Brad, not much of a move. He also had to fight back. He was not happy. He was 1-3,
wow.
Shuhei, and on the brink. But Yuya, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, in decent shape at 13 points. Not had an amazing year, but a good run in draft. He could be in shape.
He knows how to close the season.
Indeed. Now, our last 3 contenders for Player of the Year, they were all kind of needing help in teams, and we're going to come to teams in a minute. But as you can see, none of Guillaume Matignon, Josh Utter-Layton, or Su Qingguo of Taiwan have made significant moves on day 1.
Keep in mind, I mean, if someone says to you at the end of day 1, you could be 4-2, you'd be pretty happy with that result.
I'd be ecstatic, obviously.
Same.
Yeah. But these are good results. Right. None of these are bad. But you would want one of them to be 6-0. That's where the pressure comes on Brad.
Sure.
If one of these was 6-0, and Taiwan are doing quite well in teams, by the way, then it would...
And France is not doing very well in teams.
Not so much. Let's have a look at teams. That's the Player of the Year. Now, after 6 rounds in the individual, little quiz for geography lovers now, this is how the team stood after 6 rounds of individual. This is...
Poland.
Very good, it is indeed. In 2, we had...
Chile.
Good try, begins with C. Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, Costa Rica were second.
Wow.
And then tied for 3rd, we have, I know this one, United States of America. I know this one, Australia. And this one?
Slovak Republic.
Very good, the Slovak Republic. Points 42, 36, 33. But then we had 2 rounds of team play. The teams sit out, the little flags are out. It's a real celebration. It's the best round of the Magic year, the first round of teams.
And
right?
there's 9 points on the line for the team each round.
So if you win your 2 team matches, suddenly 18 points. Let's see what that's done to the standings. At the end of the day, we work our magic on the board, and we get, still in first, Poland. We'll come back to them in a sec. Slovak Republic second. Mexico in 3rd. Fantastic. Fair play to them. Let me tell you about the record of the Polish team today. 60 points. It sounds like a lot of points, but what that means is guy number 1, 5 wins, 1 loss. Number 2, 5 wins, 1 loss. Number 3, 4 wins, 2 losses. Team, 2 wins, no defeats. They are so far ahead of the field, they're practically in another country. It's absolutely incredible performance. I think it's fair to say that is the most unreal performance I've seen from a group of players ever.
And certainly a group of players that you don't have a standout name, that someone that you recognize.
And I was talking to Mateusz Kopecz, who is like the big name Polish pro. You know, he's won a Grand Prix in extended, and he went 5-1 today as well. And he said, I don't know what we've all been taking, but I'll take it. Thank you so much. So that is the team standings. So that gives you a flavour of what's been going on here on day one. I can tell you briefly, the Magic Online Championship Series, that is now underway. Remember, 11 rounds across 3 days. Brad Nelson.
Right, keep in mind now, I mean, Brad has this extra he has this extra opportunity to win money this weekend, but he also has this extra burden of extra rounds to play. And I mean, it could take its toll. We've seen the Player of the Year race year in and year out take its toll on players. If you remember the year Kenji and Olivier Ruel fought down to the wire, Olivier was a tatter of himself by the end of that event.
If you look at the pictures of Olivier through the last 3 months of that season, and then just run them back to back, it is like watching someone gradually disintegrating before your very eyes. And I have a question for you, and it's rhetorical because it's an unfair question almost.
Sure.
Brad Nelson looks to me like he is feeling the pressure, and not just because he's 3-3. He looked to me under pressure yesterday. He looked to me under pressure as he played turn one of round one.
We're not helping matters any. I mean, we're tweeting his results after every round.
Sure.
People are following him around. There's blog entries. He's got to think about this other event. I think he's absolutely feeling the pressure. And again, he came into this event worried about Paulo. Paulo is smiling. He's crisp. He's comfortable. He's it's sort of like a free roll for him.
7 on the beach, maybe, rather than 6 on the beach. We'll see. We will be back tomorrow for day 2. It's draft, Scars of Mirrodin, tons more great action to bring you from the home of Magic, magicthegathering.com. For the Pro Tour historian, Mr. Brian David-Marshall, I'm the Pro Tour statistician, Rich Hagon, saying thanks for watching and see you tomorrow.